What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy midday. Happy midday Friday. Again, with me saying, here's the deal, guys. After my live stream was over this morning, I'm just, bopping around on the internet, and then I see something that says, breaking news, Elena Delle Donne has retired, and I was like, you know what? I'm off today. I need to go live later to talk about this because as someone who has been a fan of Elena Delle Donne for a long time, as someone who was a massive fan, especially when she was with the Chicago Sky, I was like, you know what? Nah, I gotta make a video, and not just a video. I gotta go live so we can all talk about this together. But yeah, so guys, we're going to talk about Elena Delle Donne. We're also going to talk about Raina Harmon, who was the assistant coach for the Iowa Hawkeyes and now has a new gig. We're going to talk about Cheyenne Parker-Tyus as well, who has a big announcement that she has recently made, and a whole lot more. So we're going to talk about a little bit of everything. So make sure y'all tune in and let's chat, okay? Let's chat about what is happening in the world of women's basketball. This is sort of like a quick stream, a not really emergency stream, but just like a, breaking news stream. I'm off today, so I was like, you know what? Let me do this. Okay. All right, let's get into the actual story. All right, and what exactly happened. And it's over. It is official. Elena Delle Donne has retired from professional women's basketball. And while the news is not shocking, especially with the decision to sit out in 2024, it still hits hard in a lot of ways. When we think about Elena Delle Donne, she is a player who was transcendent in a lot of ways. She was a post player who had guard-like skills, who could do a little bit of everything on the court. In the paint, she got you. Mid-range, she got you. Three-point shot, she got you. She was someone who was absolutely dominant, both in college and in the pros. And she was someone who, in a lot of ways, in my opinion, deserved a victory lap. But she left the game the way that she played it on her terms. Now, this Instagram post was what was posted earlier today on Instagram, of course. And here's what Elena Delle Donne had to say. She said, one of my favorite children's books asked, how did we get so late so soon? How did it get so late so soon? I've asked myself that over and over again in the process of coming to the decision to retire from playing basketball. Being able to say it out loud was one of the hardest parts of my career. My body seemed to make this decision before my mind accepted it. But I now truly know this is the right thing for me at the right time. Words cannot adequately express how thankful I am to my family, all of my incredible teammates, friends, executives, sponsors, staff, and most importantly, the amazing fans that have accompanied me on this journey. This game has been my life, and I am grateful for the memories and how much it's given me. It feels good to close this chapter knowing I gave it my all, and I can't wait for what's next. This was what Elena Delle Donne posted on Instagram earlier today, and, it's kind of how it feels, man. How is it over already? After 10 seasons in the WNBA, 2 MVPs, 1 championship, 7 All-Star appearances, and a level of efficiency that most players could only dream of. Elena Delle Donne was someone who was amazing. She's stepping away from the basketball court, and she's leaving a legacy that is something that we may not see for a while of someone of her stature. Now, let's go through the career of Elena Delle Donne. And we go to her college. Elena Delle Donne was someone who was from Delaware. She's from Delaware. And in order to understand her dominance, you kind of have to fully look back to not just when she was in college, but when she was in high school. She was a high school phenom back in the day. She was the #1 recruit in the country in the class of 2008. She initially committed to Gino Auriemma and UConn, but in what was known throughout the land as a famous decision to leave UConn, this was something where she committed to UConn, went on campus, and left UConn just days in. At the time, she said she needed a break from the game, but really, the thing that made her leave UConn was family. Specifically, her older sister, Lizzie, who was both deaf and blind, and she has cerebral palsy. That bond, that need for physical connection between Elena and her sister Lizzie, it has shaped Elena's entire life and was a part of the reason why Elena Delle Donne, who was the best freshman in the country, left UConn, a famed program, to go play for Delaware, University of Delaware, where this team was not very good, right? But she went there and she made a statement. At the University of Delaware, a school where no one was checking for women's hoops, Elena turned it into a mid-major powerhouse of sorts. She was a 2-time first-team All-American. She scored over 3,000 points. She made a Sweet 16 appearance at Delaware, and she packed houses at Carpenter Center, which is where Delaware played. She wasn't just a hometown hero. She was a national sensation that decided to do her work back home. And when it came for her to leave college and go to the WNBA, that's where it really, really took off. And her drafting in the WNBA is really where I and a whole lot of WNBA fans really got to know Delle Donne. Elena Delle Donne was drafted #2 in the class of 2013. This was the 3-C class that had Brittany Griner #1, Elena Delle Donne #2, and Skylar Diggins-Smith #3. And Elena Delle Donne made immediate impact. Immediate. She was, again, drafted #2 to the Chicago Sky, which is why I have such a huge affinity for Elena Delle Donne. This was a team that was not very good in the Chicago Sky. They had never been to the playoffs before Elena Delle Donne arrived. Then she changed things fast. In 2013, in her rookie season, of course, she wins the Rookie of the Year. Again, she had some significant competition as a freshman. As a rookie, I should say. But not only was Elena Delle Donne fantastic when it came to rookies, no. She was fantastic in the WNBA, period. She finished 3rd in MVP voting as a rookie. Rookie of the Year, 3rd in MVP voting. She was someone who got the Chicago Sky to their first playoff berth in franchise history. And she was someone who wasn't stopping there. Finishing 3rd in MVP voting as a rookie, sure, and it's an accomplishment, but Elena Delle Donne was not finished. She kept leveling up. Her game continued to evolve, and by 2015, she was the WNBA MVP, putting up 23.4 points a game and 8.4 rebounds a game while shooting the literal lights out. Now, when it came to Elena Delle Donne, it wasn't all about the numbers. It was just about how smooth and how effortless her game really was. Elena Delle Donne was tall. She was 6'5", but she had a guard's handle and she had a shooter's touch. She could drop 30 without breaking a sweat. It was easy peasy lemon squeezy for Elena Delle Donne. But behind the scenes, off the court, it wasn't always as smooth for Elena Delle Donne. Elena Delle Donne dealt with a lot of stuff. She dealt with Lyme disease, chronic pain, and eventually back issues that would lead her to ultimately a series of injuries. Elena Delle Donne ended up requesting a trade from the Chicago Sky, forcing a trade basically, in 2017 that led her to the Washington Mystics. This was a blockbuster trade that was absolutely huge. And at DC, Elena Delle Donne continued to thrive on the court. She was an MVP again. She was a member of the 50, 40, 90 club. She was someone who brought a ring to Washington. Elena Delle Donne was someone who was able to elevate her game even further. She was already elite at Delaware. She was already elite when she was a rookie with the Chicago Sky. She was already elite when she won that first MVP. And then when she went to the Washington Mystics, she became historic in a lot of ways. In 2019, she did something that no other WNBA player has ever done to that point and has ever done since. Elena Delle Donne had a 50, 40, 90 season. Now, if that makes no sense, well, let me break it down. That's 50 shooting from the field, 40% shooting from the three, and 90% shooting from the free throw line. Epic. For comparison, there are only a handful of NBA players in history who has ever done something like that. No one in the WNBA has ever done anything like that. Will we ever see someone do something like that? Who knows? We'll see. But the fact that she was 6'5", basically a post player, shooting lights out from the three, shooting lights out from the free throw line, and carrying a team at the same time, it was a lot. It was a whole lot. And speaking of carrying a team, Elena Delle Donne was, in my opinion, the biggest piece to the Washington Mystics getting to the finals in 2019. Elena Delle Donne, she, as I said earlier, she's dealt with a lot of injuries. She played through a couple of bulging discs in 2019 in her back and still helped the Washington Mystics get their first ever WNBA championship. That championship was her legacy ceiling moment. And, you know, in a lot of ways, that's a claim to fame that she has right now. That she was someone who, through all the injuries, through all the stuff that was happening, Elena Delle Donne got her team to a championship and got them that championship. The first ever in Washington Mystics, and at this point, the only championship for the Washington Mystics. Now, the high of 2019 came with a bit of a crash. Back surgeries, lots of setbacks. Only 3 games played in 2021, limited to only 25 games in 2022, a hip issue in 2023, and then nothing. She sat out the entire 2024 season, declining the Washington Mystics core offer and staying unsigned. Now, in a lot of ways, I felt like we were heading towards this retirement last year. We just didn't know when. And thankfully, unlike Maya Moore, who left us guessing for years and years and years on if she was going to retire, Elena Delle Donne gave us some clarity today. She said goodbye. A moment to appreciate her is what we're doing right now. And I just want to break down the legacy of Elena Delle Donne. So she won 2 MVPs in 2015 and 2019. 1 championship with the Washington Mystics in 2019. She won Rookie of the Year in 2013. She's a 7-time All-Star, 4-time first-team All-WNBA, the only WNBA player in the 50, 40, 90 club. She is an Olympic gold medalist, won it in 2016, and she is a member of the WNBA 25th anniversary team. Beyond all the accolades that Elena Delle Donne has won, she meant something way more than just basketball. She made places and teams relevant. Elena Delle Donne made the decision to leave UConn and then make Delaware matter. She got drafted to the Chicago Sky and made the Chicago Sky relevant. She gave Washington, D.C. a banner.
She brought grace and heart and power to the game. She showed up for her sister, for her teammates, for fans who just needed to just celebrate somebody, right? Elena Delle Donne meant a whole lot to the game of women's basketball. And she is staying involved. This is not like she is leaving for good. She is joining Monumental Basketball as a special advisor. She also has a whole bunch of other stuff that she's doing. She has a wine business as well. She is also an advocate for people with disabilities. Again, a very deeply personal cause due to her sister Lizzie. While this is an end of the playing era of Elena Delle Donne, the thing that I want you all to remember is that Elena Delle Donne did not just play the game of basketball. She helped to elevate the game of basketball. She helped to continue this trend of point forwards, guard-like forwards who can absolutely both handle the rock down low and at the three-point line. She was someone who went through a lot of stuff, a lot of injuries, and someone who literally played at the highest level with Lyme disease, which is something that you don't really see very often. She gave us 10 unforgettable years, and for us, for those of us who, were, Sky fans, we will always remember the way she made the Sky fans feel. Like, we thought that the Sky could do anything when Elena Delle Donne was on our team. So, happy retirement. Elena Delle Donne, you have earned every bit of it. All right, guys, that is my kind of ode to Elena Delle Donne. Again, I thought she had a fantastic career. I'm bummed to see it, end. However, injuries are a thing, and eventually they will all catch up to you. And that's what we see for Elena Delle Donne. It's a bummer, but at the same time, it is what it is. What do y'all have to say about Elena Delle Donne? Y'all got any thoughts? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. All right. KT says, Sue, Diana, Elena, back-to-back. Yep. W. Bazil says, how does this affect the draft? Well, I think it just gives clarity. Like, now Washington, they know for sure that Elena Delle Donne is never coming back to their team. And so now they can fully move on. They can fully move on. Felix says, honestly, I didn't know who she is. Thanks for the education. Well, thanks for rocking with me. Salute to you. Yeah, I figured that a lot of people, that some people did not know who she was, right? Some people had no idea. And now you will. Now you do. Anna says, wish she was able to benefit from the new CBA. Thankful for her career and what she did for the league. Yeah, she did. She did a lot. Tulip says, the Mystics and CBA ruling robbed us of seeing the twilight of Elena Delle Donne's career. The only member of the WNBA's 50, 40, 90 club, two-time MVP and champion. Yeah. It is a bummer. It is a bummer to see. All right, y'all. That's a recap of sorts on Elena Delle Donne calling it quits. For the WNBA. Now we are moving on from one topic to another. As I got some news to share with you all, the fact that Iowa is losing their beloved assistant coach. Now, after 8 years of flying high on, actually, hold on. Oh, yes. Allie, yes. Guys, did you all know that Elena Delle Donne did have her own Nike shoe? She did. She did have her own Nike shoe, which I thought was pretty awesome. She had her own Nike shoe, and then she got hurt. And then she wasn't really able to promote it like that. But it would be cool if Nike did a quick rerun of her shoes. Because when her shoes were out, I didn't pick them up. And so like if it would be cool if in honor of her retiring, it would be very, very cool if Nike were to re-release her shoes. That'd be really awesome. Will they do it? Probably not. But if they did, that would be pretty cool. All right. Now, guys, do want to give you all some news. Raina Harmon, the assistant coach of one of the assistant coaches of Iowa, has got a new job. So after 8 unforgettable seasons on the Iowa bench, Raina Harmon is flying south. And she is going to the nest into the top job at Florida Gulf Coast University. On Friday, which is today, Florida Gulf Coast named Raina as their new women's basketball head coach. She is closing the door on an era of Hawkeye dominance that she helped in a lot of ways to build brick by brick. Now, if you all are an Iowa fan, y'all are probably thinking, man, this is pretty bittersweet. Because while it's hard to lose someone so integral to the program, it's even harder to not root for her next chapter, which I'm sure a lot of people are rooting for her next chapter. And here's the thing. Raina Harmon was someone who has earned this opportunity completely. She was someone who arrived in Iowa City in 2017, and she has been a foundational piece to what Iowa has built. All right, she's been a part of one of the most successful runs in Iowa basketball history, and her impact affected everything. She was involved in player development, player recruiting, game planning, and overall relationship management. During her time with the Iowa Hawkeyes, this team was fired. They had a record of 208 wins and 63 losses. They got 5 Big Ten titles, 4 tournament titles, and 1 regular season title. They were a team that reached back-to-back national championship games in 2023 and 2024. And she was someone who helped to develop Big Ten players, right? She was a huge player development person when it came to guards. She worked a lot with the guards. That meant she worked a lot with Kate Martin. She worked a lot with Kathleen Doyle. She worked a lot with Caitlin Clark. Raina Harmon's official title was assistant coach and director of recruiting at Iowa, but her role stretched very, very far from the job description. She was someone who was just making sure that players are good. After she recruited them, she's making sure they are good, and like mental wise, ready to go for games and whatnot. She was also just someone who helped to scout and work on defensive schemes, right? She was someone who helped to get the Iowa Hawkeyes to win some big games when it came to some defense, right? And she was someone who kind of helped to make Iowa feel like Iowa. Gabby Marshall called Raina her second mom. She said, "She's like my second mom. I literally would trust her with my life." That's a lot. That is a huge compliment for a player to say about their assistant coach. Raina Harmon joined Jan Jensen's staff after Lisa Bluter retired. So she was already on the staff with Lisa Bluter. At the end of last season, Lisa Bluter retired. Jan Jensen took over as the head coach. And Raina Harmon joined that staff, basically just continued on at Iowa. And she continued to help build the culture and help cultivate grit, a team of grit, a team of joy, and a team of fierce loyalty. But she never shied away from any cool possibilities of what future aspirations may be, right? Last year, Raina told the Des Moines Register that she wanted to eventually be a head coach, right? But she didn't just want to go anywhere. She wanted it to be the right fit. And that right fit is in Fort Myers, Florida, where she will be at Florida Gulf Coast University. Now, FGCU is no stranger to success. This is a program that does have postseason pedigree, right? They have high expectation. They have a fan base that is looking to see this team make it to the NCAA tournament. This is a perfect landing spot for a coach like Raina Harmon. Someone who has spent the last decade preparing for this exact moment right here. She called it one of the best jobs in the country. And she's right. This is a high upside program just ready for some new leadership to help lead them to the future. Now, here's some backstory for Raina. She was, I believe, born and raised in Detroit, or at least around Detroit. Before going to Iowa, she was a coach at Central Michigan, where she attended school and where she played basketball. She was a director of operations at Michigan. And wherever she went, she saw players get better. And yeah, she is someone who is universally loved. A phrase that gets tossed around easy with Raina is just that, you know, she cares and people love and respect her. Colleagues, other coaches at Iowa, around the Big Ten, they know what Raina can do and they respect her as a coach. And, you know, her former players are super ecstatic as well. You see Caitlin Clark ended up posting about the announcement saying, you know, it's Go Eagles now, and that Raina earned it, which is absolutely facts. Now, this is a huge loss for Iowa, and Jan Jensen has to figure out who to replace her with, because you need someone who is also a very high recruiter, like she was, and also someone who can help with player development as well. But overall, in my opinion, when we see longtime assistants get opportunities like this, it's always a win for the game of women's basketball. It always is. Because when you have someone who was that good at what they do for that long, going to various programs, being successful, working in various lanes, when they get that opportunity for a head coaching role, it's like, in some ways, it's a cheat code, because they've seen every single aspect of women's basketball, of how to do stuff. And now Raina is going to get her opportunity to do something big with Florida Gulf Coast University. And I think it's cool. I think it is very, very, very exciting. So shout out to you, Raina Harmon, for getting this opportunity. And hey, rock out at Florida Gulf Coast University. Rock out. All right, guys, let's see what y'all have to say in the comments below. Let's see. Def says Raina is beloved in Iowa City, but we all know she was destined for bigger things. She made a professional rap for every graduating senior. Kurt says Raina is well loved in Iowa, but we all know she was destined to move on. Congrats. Yep. Carmela says it's opening day too, and it's Final Four Friday. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm excited too. I am very, very much excited. Okay. I am very, very, very much excited. And we gonna see how this continues to go. We gonna see. You know, we are going to see. We are going to see how this goes. All right. Let's see if y'all have any other comments. Felix says, I wish I could stay for the rest of your stream, but I have to go. I'll pick it up later. Happy Final Four, and have a great weekend. Happy Final Four. Happy Final Four, guys. The reason why I am doing the stream is because I'm off today. So I was like, you know what? Let me do a midday stream. Let me do a midday stream. All right. Let's see. Anthony is saying the Aces signed Kennedy Carter. Really? Let's see. Cause I didn't hear anything about that. I mean, I don't see any official news about Kennedy Carter signing with the Aces. No, Kennedy as of right now, Kennedy Carter has not signed with the Aces. Now, what? Looks like the reason why that happened is that there was an error when it came to the merch. There was an error when it came to the merch. So no, she has not. No, that has not happened. She has not signed with the Aces as of right now. As of right now, she has not signed with the Aces. Now, could she sign with the Aces? Yes, sure. But as of right now, she has not signed. That was an error on the Fanatics page. They're selling slides with every player of the Las Vegas Aces, and for some reason they have Kennedy Carter on there. But yeah, that's an error. It's not true. Yeah, it is not true. If it was, man, that'd be really funny. That'd be really fun. Really, really fun. All right, guys. All right. Yeah. Carmela says, Mick talks hoops and other pagers are telling people that. Well, it's not true. If people are telling y'all that, it's not true. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Now, could Kennedy Carter sign with the Las Vegas Aces? Yes. Has she signed with them? No, she has not. She has not signed with them. She has not. So yeah. She has not signed with them. Now, it's possible. Could she sign? Yeah, sure. But this wasn't a leak. This wasn't anything like that. This just seems like a mistake. This just seems like a mistake. All right. Okay. Now let's get to some other news. And it involves Cheyenne Parker-Tyus and the Aces. So the Aces are, it's funny that you all mentioned the Aces because the Aces are actually a thing right now. There was some news made, and it involves Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. Let me just pull this up real quick and we will get into it and then we'll end the stream after that. Again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I really do appreciate your support of this channel. Truly, truly, truly does mean a lot, okay? It really, really means a lot. One second, guys. 1 second. All right, guys. Let's talk about some news involving the Las Vegas Aces. And this is related to Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is a post player who's been in the league for a very, very long time. She recently signed with the Las Vegas Aces as a free agent, and now she has announced that she is pregnant. Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is a 10-year vet in the league, and she is someone who, averages around 16 points a game, 16.3 points a game, 6.8 rebounds a game. She is someone that could do a little bit of everything. But then she, surprisingly, to her, she didn't know it, but it turns out she was pregnant. She said that she was sick. She was throwing up. She was like, "Hey, I can't, I can't, oh, hold on. Let me actually just, I'm going to share the screen grab with y'all, and we're going to go through this. One second. All right, so this is, we did get news earlier today that was an exclusive from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Shout out to their reporter, Callie, what is her last name? Callie Finn, who made the exclusive report on this. Says that Aces free agent signee announces pregnancy. So Cheyenne Parker-Tyus has told the Review-Journal that she is pregnant. And, she's a 10-year vet in the WNBA. She signed with the Aces as a free agent in February and has been rocking out overseas, right? But then she said she was sick. She was throwing up. She had to, hide her pregnancy and whatnot. Now, here's the deal. She is someone who has announced that she is pregnant, and she will miss the first 3 months of the Las Vegas Aces season. And so that is something to note. This is her second child. She's already had a child before, and this is her second one. She said, "I'm determined to return late in the season." She's 32 years old, and she is on a 1-year non-guaranteed training camp contract. And she said that the Aces have gone above and beyond to show their support. Here's the deal. The Las Vegas Aces went through this whole saga, lawsuit, and all this stuff with De'Arica Hamby after she got pregnant. And then, ultimately, the Las Vegas Aces moved her. So, now you have another person pregnant for your team, right? It was De'Arica Hamby. Then she said it was retaliation. There was this whole thing, lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. I made videos about it in the past. So go back and watch those videos about De'Arica Hamby and specifically the lawsuit that she had on the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces, accusing the team of, among other things, retaliation and harassment. All right? Due to her being pregnant. And now Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, who is on a training camp contract, has announced that she is pregnant as well. Now, this is, of course, a huge, huge blow to the Las Vegas Aces, because this is a team that is gonna, they didn't have much of a bench to begin with. They brought in Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, who is a vet. Like, she is someone who is absolutely fantastic as a veteran player in the league. And now she is out for the time being, right? As of right now, the Aces have not commented on it, but if you want to hear about when she was pregnant before, She played 13 games in 2021 before her daughter was born, and she ended up playing that year with in 2022 with the Atlanta Dream, made the All-Star team in 2023, and then was the team's highest paid player last year. So yeah, this is interesting because, you know, this is a not so great time for the Las Vegas Aces for this to happen. But here's what she said. She is crediting, Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is crediting the Las Vegas Aces for easing her nerves. She says, the signing player period was just super stressful. At the end of the day, teams don't have to sign you as a free agent. But early on in the conversation, I had a conversation, that I had with Nikki Fargas and Coach Becky Hammond. I was honest. I was very honest and upfront. It was a hard conversation to have, but it was so fulfilling because their responses and reaction was just so surprising. I had a serious feeling of relief when they were really understanding and figured out how to get it done in terms of signing her. Now, we'll see what happens. They've already arranged for her to be in touch with the strength and conditioning staff and ensure that she has the best doctors ahead of her arrival. And they're doing research to make sure she has a pediatrician. So like they're doing their part, probably because they're also probably nervous about the De'Aaron Canby stuff. That they're doing their part to make sure that they are making sure that Cheyenne Parker-Tyus has what she needs. And, you know, she is grateful for the Aces doing that and says and describes it as an investment in her. And we'll see. We'll see. We will absolutely see. The article says she was afraid to disclose her pregnancy to the Aces, but she said it's simply not in her character to try to pull a fast one. So they knew that she was pregnant. And so yeah, that is something to note. She said it's just unfortunate that there's such a stigma behind it in women's sports. It's like we are not allowed to start families. There was a time in the previous collective bargaining agreement where players didn't even get their full salary in the situation. There were things about that, things that just weren't fair to mothers. That's why it's a scary conversation for me because my livelihood is by playing basketball for a living. As far as benefits, my 401k, all those things stop if the team chooses not to sign a player because of pregnancy. Now, this is a new CBA, and so, you know, different opportunities for players, but yeah. That is for sure a thing that let's see. Here, I want to leave with this. She said, I want them to know that I am 100% committed. I am still a basketball player. I still plan on playing. I'm just having a baby. So I still have my mind and my ability to have an impact that I have as an energy player, supportive player. So she's like, I'm still all in. I am still all in. I'm telling the Aces that I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go for this. And then Callie ends up comparing this to De'Aaron Canby in that situation, all that stuff. Read the article. I'll link it in the comments. I will actually let me link it in the chat right now. All right. Shout out to Callie Finn for this article. But yeah, that is the article. And shout out to Cheyenne Parker-Tyus and her husband. They are pregnant and having their second kid. All right, that is the news, and this does affect the Las Vegas Aces heavily, right? Now let's look at the Aces squad as of right now. So just sort of talk through this real quick. All right, so if we look at the Las Vegas Aces roster, Here is their roster per her hoop stats. They got Jewel Lloyd, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Kia Stokes, Tiffany Mitchell, Megan Gustafson, Dana Evans, Kirsten Bell, and they have Queen Egbo and Cheyenne Parker-Tyus on a training camp contract. They do have, they did sign Elizabeth Kitley, and they have Elena Tinsky and Crystal Bradford on a training camp contract as well. So the loss of Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, at least for part of the season, does hurt this team in a big way in the post. This is a team that struggled beside Asia Wilson, who was just, Asia Wilson, like fantastic. Besides her, this was a team that needed another post scorer. And while Kia Stokes started last year, and while she is a great defensive player, offense is not necessarily her bag. And so this is one of those things where now they brought in Cheyenne Parker-Tyus because she is a post player who does look to score and score a lot and score efficiently. They brought her in because of that, and now she will be missing part of the season. And so you do have Megan Gustafson, which at this point you may have to keep Megan Gustafson. I was seriously thinking that Megan Gustafson was about to get cut. Maybe she ends up staying. Kia Stokes has to stay, in my opinion. You got Elizabeth Kitley. You got to really see if she's ready to go, because last year she was rehabbing from injury, and so we'll have to see. Like, is Elizabeth Kitley, is her body ready for the WNBA? I think that's a huge thing. If she is, then maybe you can make some moves, because you got Queen Egbo, you got Elizabeth Kitley, you got Crystal Bradford, you got Kia Stokes, Megan Gustafson. Not all these players can stay, right? A couple of these players are going to go. Maybe you have to keep Megan Gustafson. Elizabeth Kitley, you need to keep her. And then maybe it's a battle between Queen Egbo and Crystal Bradford or something like that. Like, there's some question marks that the Aces have to answer for, especially because now they will not have Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, who is a really good post player. They will not have her for the start of the season. So, yeah. Maybe that's why they signed a lot of bigs. Maybe that's why they signed them, because they knew that Cheyenne Parker-Tyus was pregnant. And they were like, let's just sign a whole bunch of players and then we'll cut them in training camp. That could be the thing. So yeah, we'll actually just see what happens. We will see what happens from here. But yeah, that is the news, guys. That is the news. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. Milo says, Quita, any word on Emma Mieseman? No. I think it's safe to say she will not be playing in the WNBA this year. She's playing overseas. She is playing overseas. Shay says, as Carmela said, congratulations to Alicia Gray on her engagement. Yes, Alicia Gray did get engaged. I briefly saw it on Twitter earlier today. Shout out to Alicia Gray, I should say. Shout out to her and her fiance. Juliana says maybe the Aces also have their eyes on some international players. Emma Mieseman, she whispered in hope. At this point, I don't think Emma Mieseman, I don't think she's playing in the WNBA. If she was, she would have been signed with the team by now. Like, I don't think this is one of those like very, very last minute type of things. I guarantee you teams would love that if Emma Mieseman wanted to come back to the WNBA teams would love that. But I don't know. I don't think it's likely. I don't think that is likely. All right. Okay. Anyway, that is the stream, guys. I do want to say thank you so much for rocking with me. Guys, it's been a midday stream. I was like, you know what? Let's just hop on and talk about what's going on in the world of women's basketball. Yeah. What do y'all think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, guys, I we'll see y'all in the next one. See y'all later today for South Carolina versus Texas. 4th time's a charm. We'll see who wins. All right, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.